What's up guys, this is Astranox, showcase of Belian in PvP. How do you say her name by the way? Is it Belian or Belian? Let us know in the comment section. So I have her at 15 skill ups. She's on counter and immunity sets on Elbrus Ritual Sword. Feels good to have her as a knight, so you can use powerful knight artifacts. So memory imprint, I have one of them, and you can buy those using 10 gold transmit stone in the transmit stone shop. So my stats, I would prefer if she had health percentage on the main stats of her boots. Sadly, it is speed, but it seems to be performing pretty well so far. I'll give you guys more thoughts later on as I review her in other, formats. So this is like free gear, Hell Raid, Conquest Point shop gear. So the stats are, it rolled pretty well, and I feel like she might scale off of attack. I don't know by how much. She does scale off of attack, but it seems to be maybe better than most knights. Let us know in the comment section if you know her multipliers. So yeah, I'm definitely liking her performance. She does bring a lot to the table. Constant attack that hits everyone with the skill 1. You soul burn for a 100% chance to trigger her incursion, which attacks everyone again, and then you can potentially land speed down debuff, decrease hit chance debuff, and that's more damage right there. Having her on a skill 1 that hits everyone on a counter set with Elbrus Ritual Sword, so you can expect a lot of counter attacks to happen unless you're really unlucky. But really, when you have counter set with 30% chance to trigger, plus Elbrus Ritual Sword, especially if it's maxed out. I only have one at plus 15, so 15% chance. But yes, it is triggering often, unless you're fighting heroes that cannot trigger counter attacks. Spectre Tenebria, Pavel. There's a few of them, but of course, you might not want to pick her too early on. You can definitely expect her to get banned versus certain matchup in RTA because she blocks the Guild's Ancient Book soul gain, and she also she stops the enemy from gaining souls. She just needs to be alive on the battlefield. That right there from her passive is already really strong. And then she does get a random buff at the start of her turn between critical hit chance buff, which could be the better one if you don't actually have her built with 100% crit chance. She can also get effectiveness buff, which is probably the worst one unless you really need it to actually land some debuffs. She does have debuffs, and they're quite powerful. More on to that in a second. And then she also has continuous healing buff, which is going to heal her 15% of her maximum health at the start of her next turn. So pretty solid. She can get some sustain out of that. And her skill 3, man, like, it attacks everyone. She can provoke the whole enemy team if it doesn't get resisted. And then she gets defense buff, which is perfect because she's going to mitigate more damage because of the defense buff. And she also pushes back combat shrewdness between 20 and 40%. So a lot of stuff is happening with her skill number 3. It's on a 4-turn cooldown as well, so it's quite short. And as you can see, her damage is surprisingly high. Now, if I had her on health percentage main stat boots, she'd be packing bigger punch and she would have better survivability as well. So I would really like her to be on that. So I'm gonna work on crafting boots and try to get it. Maybe not the next video, but the one after. So I'll try her out in RTA, of course. I'll try her out in Guild War, and I'm definitely expecting some good results out of this hero. And I feel like maybe initially players might not be banning Belian when I do bring her in RTA, but as time goes on, they will notice how powerful she is and how strong her kit is, and it will be banning her more and more. The reason why I do showcases in Arena first is because it's like a test environment that I don't have to wait for the action of the enemy, and there's no delay, there's no like picking phase. It's faster, and I don't have to worry about the enemy just banning Belian, so I can't even showcase her. I have to either like do the battle without her. That's kind of like a waste of time when I'm trying to rush a video out to showcase a brand new hero. So RTA is probably going to be my next video, so yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. But yes, you definitely need some skill ups into this hero. So let's talk about the pros and cons. Of course, she attacks everyone. She can receive counters to her face every time she uses that skill number 1. So that could be brutal right there. So there is that. And when she triggers a counter attack, be it from the counter set, be it from Elbrus Ritual Sword, or when she is called into a dual attack, right? She's not able to trigger the incursion. It does have a 35% chance of triggering, but it has to happen on her own turn. And the cool thing though is that you can soulburn the skill 1 to have a 100% chance to trigger that incursion. That also puts speed down debuff, decrease hit chance debuff, that's more damage. It's really good. Like the damage you're able to do with the skill 1 into the incursion soulburn, it's reliable damage. And also, you might want to save your souls, and if you don't have a 100% crit chance, one thing that you could do to have more burst damage is that if you do manage to get the critical hit chance buff, which is 50% more crit chance, you can just, soulburn the skill 1, and then it will attack twice and attack the enemy team twice, which is going to be quite a bit of damage right there. So definitely a very powerful kit that she has. But there's definitely going to be some cons. Of course, hitting everyone is good because you're dealing tremendous damage, even as a knight. But you have to worry about all the counter attacks. Maybe you're building focus for C-Set Bellona. You definitely don't want to bring her in every matchup. There's going to be some counters to her. Heroes that cannot trigger a counter attack are going to be problematic. So you definitely want to avoid a team that has, especially more than one of those type of hero. Like a Landy, that could be problematic as well. She's buffing herself up, defense buff, a random buff. So that's helping Landy to get fighting spirit, get her skill 3 available again and penetrate your defense. So you definitely have to be careful about that. And Spectre Tenebria, Pavel, definitely heroes you do have to worry about. Spectre Tenebria could definitely be dangerous, but you are hitting everyone, which means you're going to deal damage against Spectre Tenebria. So that's good. They have to worry about that. And if you do manage to build Belian with a lot of bulk, and she's still able to deal quite a bit of damage, the enemy will have to worry about her. Definitely will have to worry about her. It will put a target on her head though. Like the enemy they might want to focus on her ASAP. So you're winning when you're building more bulk on her, and if you have counter set, that's more chances for you to actually trigger counter attack. And then she actually has provoke with the skill number 3. So it's forcing the enemy to attack her. So on counter attack, great, 30% chance each time she gets attacked to trigger a counter attack. So that's an attack that hits everyone. And you have 65% chance to remove a buff from the enemy. That's almost Eyeless Violent built into her skill number 1. Very strong right there. Very strong. And it also sets up her incursion. So if it's your own turn and you want to have it trigger reliably, you can soulburn the skill 1. So you could potentially remove their immunity, right? You could remove like a defense buff, something off of them, and then the incursion attack happens, and then you can land the speed down, decrease hit chance debuff. Cool stuff, cool stuff. And I feel like if she has more speed, in one way it's good, but in another way it's bad. One reason why it's good is because, of course, she's getting more turns, so that's overall throughout the battle more damage. But then the problem is that you're not going to have as much survivability, so she's going to be more vulnerable to attacks, and she's going to go down more easy. It's going to be harder for you to keep her alive, sustain her. It's going to be an extra stress, a hero you have to worry about more, right? So there's that. Now, you could try her on a lifesteal set. I think that could be interesting. That could actually be funny. The enemy's trying to cleave, you survive it, and then you start healing her back up. You got the provoke going on, you got the defense, defense buff on her. It could be quite dangerous, especially when you start to soulburn skill 1, or you get lucky and you trigger the incursion as well. Very cool. I think I might end up trying her on lifesteal, not anytime soon though, because I don't actually think I have solid lifesteal piece that would fit this hero, gear itemization. Now, yes, having speed's good. You're gonna have more chance to go first or between the enemy, which means you could mess up their combo with a provoke, assuming they don't have immunity set on them, you might want to strip the immunity off of them, and then you can provoke with her. So there's definitely going to be a lot of different combos that you can pull off with this hero. And having the defense buff up faster because you have more speed on her, that's good. But I think counter set is just way too good to pass up. Like having her on something else, especially like even having her on a speed set, yeah, it could work. It could work. Having, like I said, defense buff faster, the provokes, like a surprise Cecilia that lands some provokes on you, but you have to take out their immunity unless they're like, I mean, how are you going to outspeed like a real speed team, right? A speed cleave, a speed single target burst team. Like, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen with her base speed, that's the thing. But having her on counter and Elbrus Ritual Sword, just at least having her on counter, that's already really strong. Like, you don't need Elbrus Ritual Sword per se on her, like 100%, because they might want to focus her down, and then you already have 30% chance from the counter set. So yeah, really cool right there. But having more bulk on her means that you don't have to worry too much about it. Like, you don't have to stress about keeping her alive, prioritizing her to be healed instead of another hero. And that means she's going to deal more damage because she has more health. She does scale. Her damage scales off of how much health she has. More of it, more damage, better survivability. But also she does scale off of attack. I feel like the multiplier might be decent. I mean, I'm not talking like really good. It could be like decent to good. But you should always prioritize health over attack, even if like a hero that scales off of attack, on the tooltip, on the skill description, it says that they will scale off of health. But sometimes there's heroes like Chaos X, like he scales a good amount off of attack, but you like the benefit of having health is so good because you're getting the attack, you're getting, I mean, more damage, you're getting better survivability. It's too hard to pass up. But if you can have the health on a piece of gear and some attack, I mean, I don't see why it would be bad. But I could be wrong. Like, her multiplier for the attack could be, not that good, actually. So, don't take my word for it. We need some confirmation in the comment section. I'll try to get a confirmation to you guys. Check out the data mine multiplier for this hero in, on Reddit or something like that. But yeah, definitely liking her performance. This is going to be a hero that's going to shine in multiple areas of the game. I'm talking PvP, of course. Yes, you could definitely bring her in PvE content. She's got some bulk. You have her on counter Elbrus. She could definitely help you cripple Abyss floors. Could help you out there, right? I'm not saying you need this hero for that. PvE can be done with 3-star heroes. With a lot of it can be done with just free gear they give you. But I'm saying that if you have this hero built, yes, there's going to be times where you can definitely bring her in PvE content as well as PvP. Now let's talk about PvP because, like, let's be honest, this is going to be a hero you're going to pull for PvP. So this is not only a hero that you can have alive on the battlefield and she's just going to block souls, and that's the end of it. Yes, I mean, you're going to pick her in RTA. You're facing a team that heavily relies on Tagil's Ancient Book, Soul Gain, to deal more damage, get extra turn, which in turn, of course, means they're going to deal more damage. Their combo is going to be quite deadly if they do have the Soul. So if they let Belian through, and they, let's say, were forced to ban another hero that's quite dangerous to their playstyle, to what they're picking, right? So yeah, sometimes she's gonna be let through, but her kit is way more than her passive by itself. Like, look at the damage. Like, you guys can see it for yourself. You can see my battle reports at the end of the battles. Like, she is outputting a lot of times more damage than Last Rider Crow. Of course, like Last Rider Crow, he's a bruiser type of hero. But like, she's doing like really solid damage, even comparing her to a hero like Carrick. Like, Carrick is a pure damage dealer. Like, he does have utilities, not only pure damage nowadays, the stealth, the silence, penetration of defense, but you can see her damage is pretty high up there for a knight, and that feels good. She's light, so of course she's going to deal more damage. I believe it's 10% more damage versus Dark because she's at elemental advantage. Now, that means she's also going to be taking more damage from Dark, 10% more. So she's gonna be a bit harder to keep alive, and you definitely do have to worry about that. Now, if you're facing a team with a bunch of single target damage dealers, they could just ignore her, but then if you have Elbrus on her, which a lot of players will be running on her, let's be honest, then they can't completely ignore her unless they have attacks that ignore counter, right? Like they're running Spectre Tenebria in the shadows. So yeah, there's definitely quite a few things the enemy has to worry about when they're facing a Belian. So yes, definitely not a strong point to bring her into a team that has very strong single target damage dealer. Like I do bring her versus Violet. Of course, Violet's gonna get drafted a lot in the current meta. Remnant Violet could be a threat to her, of course, you know, like that's a lot of damage that he's able to dish out. But if you're running health percentage main stat boots, if you have good survivability, it's gonna be good. Now, another issue with this hero, a con, of course, is gearing her out. Now, you definitely need a lot of stuff. Let's say you ignore the speed. You have like 0 speed on this hero. She's still going to perform better. She's still, I mean, going to perform well. I mean, she could even perform better. Of course, having speed, getting the provoke earlier, getting the defense buff earlier, has its pros, right? But it's like I talked about, pros and cons. Now, let's talk about having her built, let's say, without speed. Now, you still have to worry about, of course, health, survivability, damage. That's what health brings to this hero, right? And then you do want to build some defense on her, especially she has defense buff, so you're gonna get better damage mitigation. And it's the right thing to do, to have better effective health on your hero, especially when you have immunity buff. If you keep on applying immunity on the hero throughout the battle, you're gonna get a lot of value out of a defense, out of some defense substats, something like that. But of course, you don't want to sacrifice too much to get defense, because then she's not gonna have as much health, and then she's not gonna be dealing as much damage. Now, you do have to worry about building some effectiveness on this hero, because she has some very powerful debuffs, right? Like speed down, decrease hit chance, very good. And then pushing back the combat chance with skill 3, the provoke, the removal of 1 buff with the skill number 1 with a 65% chance. That's some really strong stuff. So you cannot ignore effectiveness on this hero. Even relying on the effectiveness buff that she gets, that's random. 1 out of 3 of the buffs that she gets randomly, right? So quite a few things that you do have to build on this hero, but I feel very good about her. I feel like she's gonna shine definitely in a lot of situations in World Arena RTA. In Arena, you can set her on your defense. I mean, Arena defense is gonna be annoying. They can't use souls, man. Can't use souls, but unless they're doing an auto team. Guild War, you know, offense, yeah, maybe even defense. Could definitely be strong in defense. But building stats, health, very important, guys. And crit damage, it's not a priority. Like, if you can do it, but if not, it's fine. Let us know what you guys think about Belian in the comment section. Stay tuned for my other showcases, but that's gonna be it for this one. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all ya do. Peace out for now.